All right. Welcome, all you beautiful people on Facebook and on YouTube. This is KY Bob, follow, joined by my co host. About to say followed by my, you follow me, but jo-
We,
joined by my co host
we get it.
Fabio and Powerman 4K.
Okay, okay, Parman. We are stalkers now. We are just following him. That's
Yes,
it.
yes.
Well, I'm a
Yeah,
little,
I stalk them all the time.
for a second there, I didn't think the show was going to happen. And when it did at last second, everything came together. And so forgive me if I stumble over myself a lot in this show because I honestly wasn't ready for it.
Mm.
But
Okay, so that's it. That's the show. Thanks for coming.
I cannot let my fan thember down.
No,
Telling you.
No,
we have to
never,
show up and show out, man. We have to.
never.
But anyway, episode 13. And well, let's just get into what everybody's been doing. Fabio, how have you been? What have you been playing? And yeah, how's the world treating you, brother?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Always glad to be here. And yeah, I decided to do something that I never thought I would be doing, but I am taking a break from Halo Infinite because I got level 100 on the battle pass. I got level 127 on the 10 Rai events. We didn't get any new events, crazy events or something like that. It's still the same game with the same modes, with the same maps. We still have no roadmap. I'm still waiting for 343 to give us any sort of updates. Yes, they will give us, but like at the moment, I think I'll just like, okay, I may come back to Halo Infinite one day or another, but I'll I'll mostly be focusing my Halo experience on Master Chief Collection at the moment. To be fair enough, I've been playing during this week Destiny 2. And why is that? Because the game has there's an event going on at the moment. I decided to start an account on Destiny 2 to play that event because it's Bungie's 30th anniversary event where they decided to add the combat evolved pistol, the Halo Magnum, and the battle rifle from Halo. So yeah, I'm only playing Destiny to grab those weapons and I got them. And it's awesome. Simple as that.
Yeah, that Halo
Very,
pistol is actually pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Hits really hard.
Yeah, I love the BR man. I'm not kidding. I will get to level max level on that shit by only using those weapons. I don't care. I will dismantle any other weapon that I grab, and I will upgrade the pistol and the BR just to be the best weapons ever. I won't be changing the Halo loadout.
Yeah, no, it's
yeah, power, man. Between my internet issues and you getting stuck in traffic, we made this happen, brother.
yeah,
Tell
man.
me, what have you been playing? Have you been stuck in Dying Light world like me, or how you doing?
Uh, no, I haven't pulled the trigger on Dying Light yet. I actually would like to go through the first one. You know what I mean? I'm not. I didn't really go. I didn't really finish the first one, so I'd like to finish that one up first. But I've been playing a lot of Immortals: Phoenix Rising, kind of trying to, scratch that Breath of the Wild itch, but not on a Switch. And I'm probably going to be starting up Guardians of the Galaxy on Xbox. I played it on PC, but I want to get it on Xbox, and it's actually on sale this week. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll pick that up and maybe go through that later on this week. But that Immortals game is actually a pretty big game, so we'll see how long it takes me. But other than that, man, I've been kind of taking a break from the whole multiplayer gig, man. Just kind of, sitting back, relaxing, playing a couple of games here and there, and getting ready for this podcast, man. Let's do it.
You tired of the trolls during matches?
Now so the beginning of Dying Light 2 is really good. I mean, you do kind of get the feeling that the character you're playing is from the first game, but other than that, it's almost a complete disconnection from the first game. It's happening in a different city, thousands of miles away. After the first game, apparently your character became kind of like a migrating pilgrim from settlement to settlement, and finds himself in this new environment. So you don't have to play the first one.
Okay.
And if you loved playing the first one with friends, then old Bob's got a little bad news for you. And we're going to get into that because the co-op is trash. It's very unstable. Getting into a party and being excited, you actually get connected with somebody and you play for 3 or 4 minutes and you get disconnected. And it's not even regional either, because I know I got some buddies on the West Coast who have no problems with their friends whatsoever. And they decide to hop out of that party and play with their buddy that lives a little farther up on the West Coast. And where he was having no connection issues whatsoever, he starts having tons of connection issues. So yeah, right now I'm calling it the luck of the draw. If you get in a good game and you're stable for a while, don't change, because
Are you referring to Dying Light 2 or Dying Light 1? Or
Dying
both?
Light 2.
Dying Light 2. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Dying Light 1 is flawless.
Okay, so the co-op is solid on that.
Oh, very solid. Dying Light 2, I don't understand why you just couldn't do what you done in the first game and perfected it and brought it over. But it's not working that way. I've not actually been able to get into a co-op match yet. But there's a lot to keep you busy.
No, man, listen, all this, everything that's wrong with Dying Light, Techland, and the fridge in the break room is the Xbox Series S's fault. And until we remember that, we're never going to move forward as a gaming community. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. But
Like, I mean, I gotta be honest. Like, this would that mean that the development team on Dying Light decided to kind of fuck it up with the game in a way? Because okay, I get it that for a lot of people the game is fun as hell because it is exactly like Dying Light 1. But like when we think about the optimization for the next gen consoles and the co-op issues that we are having, there's something wrong going on that development scene. I don't know what it is. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they had little time to work on those features or if they had little resources on that. But like, there's something really wrong because I mean, you're playing on a Series X and a PS5, and the game is optimized 1080p 60 FPS, while on the Series S is optimized 1080p 30 FPS. That just makes no sense to me, to be honest.
yeah, and to be honest with you, so I remember many games on the Xbox One X that ran, if it wasn't full 4K, the sweet spot seemed to be 1900p.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were all told that we couldn't get more than 30 frames a second because of the CPU bottleneck. All right, that old Jaguar piece of crap. Well, now we got 8 cores, 16 threads, Zen 2 processors. And to get 60 frames a second, we got to go down to 1080p. And I'm telling you, so Techland did come out and say that the PC was their priority, getting it out the door. And it is very evident. If you go through the menus in this game, which you'll see in the video on your screen that I'm playing right now, when you go through your menus, it's literally a cursor that you are moving around with your analog stick. It's so PC-ish. It reminds me so much of the interface and the problems with co-op. I mean, it's Outriders, because Outriders, I didn't have much, much luck playing with other people. I had no problems single player, but the co-op was broken, and the menus were the same way. It felt so PC-ish, like that's what it was optimized for, because you moved around with a cursor. That's so janky, especially when you have your sensitivity set for combat, and then you go into your menu and it's like, wow, I really jumped over that item. Let me go back. But I mean, it's a great game. It just, well, for guys, for the last 2 years, there has been no game to come out that has had the polish like they always used to have. And it's not even the way they look. I mean, because yes, in 30 frames a second on this game, you get some really nice ray tracing. You get some really nice ambient occlusion. It's at 1080p and it's at 30 frames a second. It looks really nice until you start. I mean, it looks so nice that's the way I played through and get this, people, the 2-hour tutorial. These fools at Techland, because when you buy a game digitally, you have 2 hours to return it. You can play it so long, but then you got to return it. Well, what if you make your players play a tutorial that takes them past the point that they can return a game?
That's pretty smart.
But anyway, I played through this tutorial in 1080p, 30 frames a second, which is called the quality mode, because it has full ray tracing and ambient occlusion, and it's beautiful. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's beautiful. And I just thought that I wasn't used to playing a game with so much melee combat. So I was like constantly swinging past zombies. I was missing the target, and I was like, I gotta get back into the groove, is what I thought. And then after I got through the tutorial, I kind of slowed down a little bit, and I was doing more exploration than anything, than actually progressing through the story. I decided, okay, I'm going to play in 60 frames a second. All my hit issues and aiming issues, gone. Completely gone. It's smooth as butter. And to be honest with you, it's not that big a hit visually as you would think.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think there's something wrong with the optimization on this game. To be honest, like I'm not saying that it looks ugly. It does. It looks really beautiful, especially the light. I'm impressed by that. But like I don't know, the next gen consoles, they are capable of so much more, and they just did such a poor job on optimizing for that. Because I mean, how is the optimization on the base Xbox One? Is it 1080p 60 FPS as well,
To be
or is it
honest with you, I
just
actually
30
haven't
FPS?
even seen any of that being covered.
I know that it's sub 1080 at 30 frames, and that's as high as you go. Probably a mixture of low and lower than low settings, if I had to guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this, man. Like, I haven't played Dying Light yet, but I really do genuinely hope that this does not become like a norm, right? Like in 2022, to say that 1080p 60 is the best that we can do.
Yeah.
I would almost say that if it requires it to dial back the scope of the game or whatever it is, it almost feels like the ambition outweighed the technical know-how, right? Like they were pushing for this massive world at 60 frames with a lot of stuff going on. So if what they're saying is true and the quote unquote GPU of the Series S is holding them back, then I think that maybe the scope of the game should have been dialed back, maybe. But in all honesty, I truly feel like what it is they just haven't figured out how to do it yet. And somewhere along the line, they're going to come out with some kind of unlocked frame rate. Take Guardians of the Galaxy, for instance, right? The Series S originally, the only way you could play it was at 1440p 30 frames. And then they finally found out a way that you can unlock, I guess, to unlock the frame rate so that it was it was 60 with dips into the 40s or whatever. But if you have a VRR screen, you don't notice those dips nearly as much, right? So I don't know, but I just don't. I hope that other developers are taking notice and listen. We have 4K TVs, we want 4K resolution, and we want 60 frames, right? We need to develop those two standards need to be the standard in 2022, right? And last generation, everybody was trying to do 1080p at 60. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until the end of the generation with the One X and the Pro that they started to try to push towards that 4K resolution. But all I'm saying is I hope that they do, that a lot of other developers aren't, trying to use this and say, okay, well, 1080p is acceptable, because really it's not.
And where's the VRS that being you? Where's the variable rate shading? And
Where's the dynamic resolution scaling? Where is the fidelity super resolution? Where are all these tools that I know that they have available that you could use, right? You could use FSR and natively render it down to 1080p, and then it upscales it to 4K, and it looks really good. Call of Duty Vanguard does that for the Xbox and for AMD graphics cards. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm sorry, just sorry to interrupt everyone, but like two things. First of all, welcome Slayer, good to see you here. And second of all, was there a no signal sticker happening there for 1 second during the gameplay?
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
What
For
happened?
some reason, my capture card, if it doesn't like the output, then it'll drop.
Oh,
That
okay.
happens very rarely, but
Funny. Like just
I was
1 second, no
I was
signal.
actually going to get to that. I was going to get to this and clear the floor for the one, the only Slayer exclusive. Sir, can you please tell us what have you been playing? I should say, what gamer score have you been farming lately, and how are you doing?
What's up, guys? Sorry about that. It's been kind of a rough week at work, so I'm very tired, and I kind of fell asleep. And so sorry about that. I was very tired. But I actually haven't been. I haven't really been achievement hunting, to be honest with you. As crazy as that sounds, um, I've been trying to like just finish up like some games that I wanted to finish up, like in terms of gamer score, like nothing like indie game-ish. It was I was playing a little bit of Dying Light 2. Since you guys are talking about it, I'll definitely talk about that in a little bit. I'm continuing Kings of Amalur, and I was trying to 100% the Pictures anthology Man of Medan, which is kind of fun. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing lately, and ESO, of course. Can't forget that game. But yeah, Dying Light 2, man. I mean, I've been listening to you guys, and I have to agree. I mean, there's a lot of things I'm not a fan of, and I'm so shocked that there's no 60 FPS. That's kind of ridiculous, in my opinion, with 4K.
At least
And
1440. I mean, geez.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I would be okay with that even.
But for me, my biggest gripe so far, I haven't really had any co-op issues yet because I haven't really played the game co-op that much. I think maybe like 2 hours, and during that time, I didn't have any issues. But why does every game have to be Breath of the Wild? That's my question.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank
Every
you.
game has to be Breath of the Wild.
Exactly.
Oh man,
Okay,
that
okay,
stamina while climbing
okay.
is just why, guys. Like, why? Why you got to make
No,
things realistic for? Like,
ah,
we
that's
play
not even.
games,
That's
like
not
to.
even. No, no, no. That's not even Breath of the Wild. That's Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, but I feel like Breath of the Wild, just like, I mean, as soon as you like hold on to something and you see that little meter pop up, you're like, oh my God, here we go. And now I'm like sitting here stressing out when I'm gonna fall to my death because I don't know the exact path to take.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I don't know if like you get better at it. Like I'm sure like through leveling up and stuff. Like you you improve your stamina or whatever. But like, why? Like, I don't understand. Like, Dying Light 1 didn't have that issue. You didn't lose any stamina, while climbing. You lost stamina in other ways, which is fine. But like not while climbing, and it was just fine. Nobody complained. Nobody said, "Oh, this is really unrealistic" or whatever. Like nobody can climb forever. But it's a video game, of course. Like who cares?
Yeah.
I just wanna say that I just love the solution that Slayer gave to the co-op issues. Like, you you won't have any co-op issues if you just don't play the game co-op. It's simple as that. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's true.
it's like, for example, let's just say Madden 22 is a shitty game. I don't know why I didn't play, but I'm just saying, like, Madden 22 is a shitty game. Well, you won't deal with a shitty game if you don't play Madden.
Exactly. There
That
you
it's
go. Now you're
just
getting
that.
it.
You know,
It's so genius. Well done,
that's a
good sir.
valid point. I mean, you know, I put myself through trash games all the time.
Yeah, it's Slayer as well. He just plays
I mean,
Battle
For
Like
everybody
he
else's
buys Battle
benefit,
Like.
so I can give them my honest opinion. That's it.
listen, I
I'm not
I
enjoying it whatsoever.
I wouldn't go as far as saying this game is trash. I love it. What I've played of it, I love it, and I want to play it more. I just feel like some of the changes are not good. Like the climbing is annoying. I just hate it. Like it makes me not want to climb. It makes me not want to really parkour
They
because it's
really
like
Yeah.
fucked up. They really fucked up with the climbing in Dying Light.
yeah, and
Really.
then like the health bars. Why? Why are there health bars now? Like why is like I get it. You want to go into RPG, but like it seems like they're more like bullet shield, meat shields now more than they were
Okay,
before. That's
okay,
another thing.
okay.
Not
That's
everybody
Assassin's
can
Creed.
be Gears of War. Gears of War did it the best. The screen
Okay,
gets red, and if it gets too red, you're dead.
okay. That's Assassin's Creed 3 all over again, where it was just impossible for you to walk on the rooftops. You had to just walk on the street like an Assassin's Creed game where you don't parkour as well. Like, it just, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
So,
it's
so,
crazy.
so sorry. I just noticed that I am cursing and I should not, because one of the listeners
Shame on
warned
you,
me
sir.
with that.
Shame on
So
you.
so sorry. I will stop. I'll be quiet.
Well, we understand that this is the
Ooh.
way they talk in Brazil, but the U.S., you got to look out for
Yes,
people
yes.
that may be a little more sensitive than others.
Pardon me to anyone who gets annoyed by when I curse. I will stop. Okay. So sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
We
So
still love you, Fabio.
Shall we continue with this fudging episode?
But yeah, like what's that famous line from that movie? I've never seen it, so I'm sorry. I don't know if it's my age or whatever, but I also don't really watch movies. But is it like they killed my boy or something like that, right? You guys
What?
probably know.
Look how they massacre my boy. The
There
killed.
you go. Yeah, yeah. There you go.
Like,
I'm
what do you
glad
mean?
Fabio had you on that because I was lost.
I mean, like, what do you mean your age? Like, how old are you? 60, 68? God damn it.
No, I mean it's I don't know. People like who like tell me about that excuse me movie are usually older than me, so they're like, oh, you probably never seen this because you're young. I
So
mean, you're younger than me, but I also, like I said, I don't watch movies, so
I'm gonna jump off topic here real quick. What is that?
What?
Thember said a game that surprised him today was The Last Kids on Earth.
Is that what? Okay.
It's one of the Game Pass games that dropped very recently. I don't know much about it other than that. It was part of the bundle that came in with Crossfire. Um, there's a rogue like that looks actually pretty good. I know that I don't typically like those, but it looks pretty cool. Um, Skull, I don't know, something like that, and a couple other games. But yeah, it's one of those that popped out onto
I
Game
will say
Pass.
though, Dying Light 2 does not have loot boxes, so it's a plus. Definitely.
yeah, that's a good thing.
Doesn't have battle royale. 0 out of 10.
this game won't survive.
Oh,
This game will not survive 3 months without a battle royale.
Yeah, it wouldn't. It's not going to last. Write it down. Mark it.
power, power! You're going to trigger the one person in our chat.
I know. That's all right. It's giving us traffic. Okay, let me go. Let me do this thing.
Oh goodness.
Just give me that for 1 second, please.
I don't mean to butt into the news there, KY, but I am online right now, and I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this stuff, but supposedly a Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 trailer rumored to be dropping tomorrow.
Hmm. Well, I still prefer to just wait for tomorrow
What the
and
frick?
see if it drops.
This is dancing around. Usman verified is talking about a Modern Warfare 2 trailer, and a couple other ones I've seen online. I don't know, pretty interesting. It would actually be interesting if they um, switched it to maybe like a summer drop, right? I mean, wouldn't that be kind of cool instead of like a fall?
I
Seems
mean,
to be like a regular cadence. It'd be nice if they just, hey, here's the reveal, and it's coming out in May.
are
That'd
we
be
talk,
crazy.
are
It
we talk,
doesn't matter.
are we
Xbox
talk,
Game Pass, there no month is safe.
are we talking about another Modern Warfare remaster, or are we talking
No,
the
we're talking about
following
the
title of the 2019 Modern Warfare?
yes, Infinity Ward's 2019 sequel and the Warzone 2 that is also rumored to kind of accompany that game.
What
Um,
the fuck?
yeah.
Just what the fudge? Sorry.
But yeah, because I'm seeing a couple of these rumors, and I'm seeing that a lot of news is breaking about um, a 120 FOV slider coming to consoles in Warzone, which they haven't had. I don't know if you guys have noticed that playing Warzone, but the FOV is set to like 70. It's terrible. Um, yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, with all the news surrounding this, and I'm sure we're going to get into it because I actually have a lot to say about it. But
Bob
um,
has no idea.
oh man,
Seriously, like I mentioned about that when we when I got here on the StreamYard, and he had no idea of what I was talking about.
oh my God,
I
Bob,
was
you
like,
don't
dude, I've
know?
been working so much overtime lately. And
Oh
when
man,
I haven't
Bob.
been working
Bob,
overtime,
Bob,
I've been
Bob,
playing Dying Light
All
2,
right,
so
Bob.
I'm ready
Out
to
of
can
talk
we
two
do
things,
Dying
it?
Light 2.
Can I do it?
wait a sec. Wait a second. Let me just say one thing, Bob. There's only two options that you are going to have. One of those reactions is that you won't care and you will be okay with that, and the other one is that you are going to be pissed. Okay?
Look, look, look. Okay. A host can only do so much. That's why I have the best co hosts on YouTube.
That's right.
I'm telling you, bar
Okay.
none. If I miss it, they got it.
I
I'll,
am
I'll
your
be
shield.
I'll be looking for your co-hosts in 2 seconds.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
All right, Bob. Let me.
Three,
All right. So here,
two,
since you don't know,
one.
I want to drop this on you. Okay.
Hold my
So
hand. Hold my hand. Let's go.
yesterday, a blog post was released by Brad Smith, which is the head lawyer that is for affronting this entire Activision Blizzard acquisition, and he's the one that's dealing with the Federal Trade Commission, right? In this blog post, it explicitly states that not only will all the current Call of Duties under contractual obligation come to the other consoles, including the Nintendo Switch, but future titles will also continue to go to the other platforms, including PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. They explicitly talked about wanting to bring the Switch in. I thought that was kind of strange. I didn't think that the Switch had the power to run a Call of Duty game, but we could maybe see something like Call of Duty Mobile. I was thinking that something like that could be ported over, given that it makes like $500 million a month or something insane. It makes some kind of crazy amount of money. But yeah, so and then also this includes all of their major quote unquote major popular titles. Stuff like Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 was mentioned in this blog post. So as it stands right now, there are some people that are talking, and trying to kind of dissect the language into some kind of lawyer speak. But the way I see it, this stuff's going to be multi-plat. It is what it is, I guess. Myself personally, I be honest, I've kind of lost interest in this whole Activision and Blizzard thing. I feel like at this point, I just want it to get done and get over with. It feels like it almost seems like they wanted a version of Minecraft, but just taken to the 100th level, and to use this acquisition as fuel for something else. I won't say that I'm not disappointed about the potential of something like Spyro or a Crash Bandicoot or something like that being exclusive. I don't know exactly what they mean by popular. This could be multiplayer. They didn't. They
Exactly.
didn't. They didn't specifically say what was what. But for at least we know for now. It looks like Call of Duty is going to be multi-plat. Now, having said that, Sony did something revolutionary. And listen, I wouldn't be able to praise Sony and also be mad at Xbox, right? Sony bought Bungie, and they're keeping Destiny. Now, I think this was mostly Bungie and not PlayStation. I think if PlayStation had the option, they would probably make it exclusive. But the point is, they agreed to the deal, and I'm still able to play Destiny on my Xbox, which is where I prefer to play. So, if they want to take it to PlayStation and they want to let those PlayStation fans continue buying Call of Duty at full price with probably, held back content, because I assume that Xbox eventually will take over on marketing and whatever exclusive content that would come with it, similarly to a PlayStation deal. I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money. And, that'd be a lot of pissed off people. And the problem that Microsoft is running into is because, they're so big and they're so powerful. They have so much money that, like, anything that they do that could be perceived as negative will just be looked at as them punching down on Sony or Nintendo, because let's be honest, they could acquire them in cash money, right? So Sony is kind of, in my opinion, sometimes gets a pass because they're not as big as Microsoft. And for the longest time, Sony fans, especially the extremists, have always claimed that Microsoft's money isn't Xbox's money, right? That's what you always hear, that Xbox isn't Microsoft and they don't have that bank. Well, Satya Nadella just went out and opened his account and said, yes, Microsoft has the full backing of Xbox, and this is what we're going to invest into. And that's all how this whole fear mongering and scare tactic stuff started. I also think it's mighty weird that out of nowhere, it went back. It went back to Xbox has no games when 2 days ago Xbox was a monopoly, and that we should all be terrified of them. I don't know, guys. What do you think?
Here's the thing. When it comes to that part of making Call of Duty multiplat, I totally get it because Call of Duty has a fucking giant community. Communities like is one of the biggest communities ever in gaming, and you don't want to fuck with those communities because they are way too giant. The same way as we have with Minecraft, it makes sense for Minecraft to be multi-platform, and because of that, Minecraft is better than ever. And like I think this is good for Call of Duty, but when it comes to other titles like Overwatch, Diablo, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, World of Warcraft, like when it comes to games like that, let's just say we are going to have future installments as well as brand new IPs. And they decide to say that, okay, Activision Blizzard is under Xbox Game Studios, but all of those studios are going to be making multi platform games. If I have no problem with Microsoft decided to make some games multiplat because they did before. After all, we have Minecraft and Minecraft Dungeons as an example of that. But I think it's bizarre of like if they decide to make all of the titles from Activision Blizzard, not just the ones that we already have it announced, but also the brand new IPs, to just announce that they are all going to be multi-platform. It makes me confused by asking like, why would you try to get your Xbox community excited about the acquisition when it's only going to profit your wallets and not necessarily the community itself? Like, why would you try to hype this about by saying, oh yeah, we are acquiring Activision Blizzard? like Xbox gamers, we all enjoy Game Pass. Game Pass is a great option, and it will always be that like it's the best deal in gaming that we have at the moment, and that's not changing anytime soon. But why wouldn't you try to get an advantage out of that? Like, since you spend so much money, and when it comes to that part, why stop there then? Why is Activision Blizzard multi-platform and not Bethesda? Why would you make Starfield exclusive? Why would you make Redfall exclusive? Why would you actually continue to be
Okay.
making Xbox consoles, and why would you continue to be being considered as a first party developer and not just a
Okay.
third party? I mean, like, I'm just confused if they decide
Bob,
to make
look.
all the games multi-platform.
Bob's gonna lay it down. Okay. You see, Bob's logo, for as long as Bob can remember, has always been the half Xbox, half PlayStation logo. I don't. It does not. I do not get any enjoyment out of knowing that a game is only going to be on my platform. I get enjoyment knowing that I'm never going to have to buy that game again. And that is the big picture. On PlayStation, I do love the PlayStation exclusives, but you're always going to pay for them on PlayStation. I'm not going to pay for them on Xbox. I'm not going to pay for Fallouts, Elder Scrolls, Dooms, Call of Duties, Spyros, World of Warcrafts, Diablos. I'm not paying for them. I'm paying $15 a month for my Xbox Live Gold and my Game Pass Ultimate. That's $15 a month, people, rolled together, not individually. And I get all of this. So it doesn't bring gaming to the masses, really. I mean, I don't I'm not gonna sit here and I don't want to sound like one, and I don't want to pump up the gatekeepers because that's excluding a platform is bad for all the communities involved. Not having to buy the game, like for instance, I wasted money on Diablo 2 Resurrection. If it had already been part of Game Pass, guess what? I wouldn't have had to. I would have just downloaded it. Call of Duties. I mean, let's be honest, some of them are hit and miss. And until Power Man talked me into getting Vanguard and playing it with him, I did. I had fun. But because of the way Call of Duties have been in the past, I was hesitant. So I did not want to fork out the money. In 2 years from now, I won't have to fork out that money. I will just go to my Game Pass and I will download it. You're going to see users go through the roof because for the Xbox platform, that investment for the Xbox fans, that investment, which is your ticket to ride, if you want to call it that, is free. So everybody try these games out. If you don't like it, uninstall it. At least you didn't pay $70 for it like the other side of the aisle did. It killed me to buy Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2 is like the first game I'd actually paid money for in over a year. And it hurt me. I was like, oh my God, I gotta buy this game.
For one moment, I was expecting like, oh my god, the co-op is so trash. Look at
No,
this
I was like,
user interface.
Microsoft, why
This is for
couldn't you have bought
PC.
Techland 4 years ago? Why?
But listen,
God,
so Bob,
I'm spoiled.
I agree with what you're saying, and
Yeah, me
and in
too.
my opinion, in a world where like everybody would play ball with how you're thinking, your logic is, but here's the deal, is like, okay, so Sony is going to keep doing Sony, right? And what does Sony do? Sony puts out a lot of single player, high quality games that cost money, right? And they very rarely, if ever, they eventually hit and they lower in price. But let's face it, they're not as of right now. They're not day and date, right? So I do feel that Xbox needs that all those things that are also part of their ecosystem that define that console. And and what Fabio was talking about is it's like if you're gonna put most of the Activision Blizzard games multi-platform because you quote unquote don't want anybody to miss out, or you want Phil Spencer said the most people playing Call of Duty than ever in 5 years, and the most people playing World of Warcraft. I mean, so that means he has a plan to put it wherever he can fit it, right? Like that's the goal. So at the end of the day, and I guess my question is like, if we are playing ball with Sony and we are basically, from what it feels like, protecting them from being kicked out of the industry because they're not big enough to play with people like Amazon and big enough to play with people like Apple. My question is like, where's that reciprocation? You know what I'm saying? Like when is Sony going to be like, hey, thanks for like not completely driving us out of the video game industry. Like here's, XYZ or something that's,
No, not
you know, that
not
could
not
be
just
off to
that.
the side, right?
Not
I just feel like it seems like a one-way street because
I,
everybody knows Microsoft is big and they know that they can basically like it's easy to make a company that large look really bad, right? So like any move they make that would be perceived as like predatory or competitive or what another company would just be doing like what Sony does with like locking down Final Fantasy with go back to the Tomb Raider debacle, right? They locked it down for a year and it was nothing but negative PR, negative PR. I haven't seen one negative PR article that talks about Sony locking down Final Fantasy 16. I haven't
like
seen one.
not
So,
just like thanks for not. It's a, I mean, like not just thanks for not wiping us out from the console market. It's not just that they are saying thanks for not wiping us out of the console market like we tried to do with you guys during the Xbox One review in 2013, and like we managed to do with Sega before. Thank you so much for not doing what we tried to do with you. We managed to do with Sega. I'm not saying that Sony is a bad company and it should be destroyed. I'm not trying to say that, and I'm not trying to say that Xbox needs to lock down their games and that's it. I'm just saying, like, if you are going to try to sell us an ecosystem that just englobes console, PC, and mobile,
Then what does it
why?
matter?
No, I mean, like, why does it matter then for them to make an Xbox? Why don't they just, okay, guys, let's just make Game Pass and make Game Pass available on PlayStation the same way as on Nintendo Switch? Like, I can be okay with that, but like, I mean, why would you buy an Xbox then? Why would you buy a PC for that? Why would you have a mobile phone for that? I can play, like, if you have a,
Well, local
I,
hardware is always going to trump any kind of streaming service.
yeah, but I mean, like, if PlayStation, I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to become a crap gamer here. Understand that I'm not trying to say shit about Xbox here. Please do understand that. I'm just confused because if they do make, I'm not, I'm just speculating. If they do make all of the Activision Blizzard games ex- multi-plat, why stop there? Why not
yeah.
make Bethesda games multiplayer? Why don't make your own studios multiplayer? Why would you continue to make a console? Why won't you just make Microsoft is not the house of Xbox. Microsoft is actually the house of Game Pass, and Game Pass is everywhere, even on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, and that's it.
Game Pass is not on PlayStation.
No, no, but like I'm just trying to say, if everything speculated, if everything is going would if everything ends up becoming multi-platform, why just stop there? You know what I mean?
I think that Fabio is getting into what I think the real issue is here, I think it's a little bit less. I don't want to come off. I think the real issue here is with messaging, right, and communication.
Yes.
And what's happening is like we're getting a lot of like hot and cold from Microsoft and from Xbox. So we go back in time and we talk about whenever they first started acquiring these studios. Why did they acquire these studios? Why did they acquire Ninja Theory? Why did they acquire Obsidian? Why did they acquire eventually Bethesda? Right? It was to bolster the Xbox ecosystem and the platform. Right? So to me, those felt like genuine, like good acquisitions because they eventually, even though they were coming under the same scrutiny about the Bethesda acquisition that they are here. It's just time 1,000. But eventually they said that these games are going to exist where Game Pass exists, right? Which is a nice PR way of saying it's not going to be on PlayStation, right? Because Sony would never agree to something like that because it would literally take away one of their main metrics that they're starting to count now, which is active users, right? Like if you have to sign into an Xbox Live account to play a game that's exclusive to Xbox, that takes away from their activity. There, you know what I'm saying? That counts as a point for Xbox and not for them. So the issue here is like we have these acquisitions and now we're in uncharted territory, right? These new acquisitions that are from both of these companies are something that I wouldn't have expected to have been done in the next 10 years, right? So I guess the issue here is, we've been seeing acquisitions and we've been seeing games that are exclusive to the platform. And now we have a pretty solid library that could be like an absolute juggernaut into the Game Pass ecosystem and would be, in my opinion, a shoe-in for anybody that anybody with common sense to get Game Pass. And then now it seems that they're having to do this or being forced to do this. It just seems a little weird, and I think that that's why the Xbox community is very polarized right now because they're not really sure like what to take by it. Like at the end of the day, Bob's right. Like you don't have to pay for these games. That's great. At a fundamental level, you're not having to kick out the cash, and those other people are. And there is something to be said for that, right? Like that's something that a lot of people are going to look at, and it may even bring it up. But me personally, like if you had a huge library on PS5, and you see somebody that got caught on Game Pass or what have you, yes, that might be very enticing. However, I don't know if I would like if it was the reverse. I don't know if I would throw my Xbox away because PlayStation was getting, Bungie drop Destiny 2 into PS Now. I'd be like, oh shit, I gotta go sell my. Nah, I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? I have a preferred ecosystem, which is Xbox. So I
Yes.
guess for me personally, and it's just me, I think that the messaging could be a little bit more clear. And honestly, I can't stand this constant. It's like they drop these posts, but even with the language that they're using from a lawyer, can still be twisted and turned and used to either fit one narrative or the other. And I just wish they would come out and drop a video and say, hey, listen, this is our plan. This is what we're going to do. Call of Duty is going to be staying everywhere that it's at for the rest of the time, and there's nothing that we're going to do about it. And the rest of the stuff is either up in the air, or they say, hey, the rest of the stuff is also going there because we want everybody to play it, and then we could be done with it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having to speculate what's going to happen a year and a half down the road.
Well, I think the part of the problem where what you're talking about right now is that they can't do that, right? Because the acquisition hasn't been completed yet, so they can't jump the gun and say anything. And me personally, I feel like one of the things that I haven't heard anyone mention this is I think we're overreacting, and I think we're looking too much into this because I feel like at the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen because I feel like even though the messaging has been kind of, flip flopping and stuff, I just feel like it's the messaging that's been coming out of them has been super vague and vague enough that it actually can only end up being Call of Duty and like maybe Overwatch and Diablo and World of Warcraft, obviously. But like I feel like because they've been very vague about it. It hasn't been like clear cut like, oh yeah, every game from Activision is going to be is going to be multi-plat, and I feel like that's what they're trying to play at because of this FTC thing, that they're getting, kind of they feel like they're in hot water, and so I feel like that's what they're kind of worried about,
But
and
like,
you know,
but yeah, like I get it, but I mean, wouldn't it be bad for Microsoft if they end up? I'm not saying that it is a contractual obligation that they are doing or a contraction commitment. I All I say is, would it be bad for them to make a verbal commitment by saying? I'm not saying that they are saying that also. That they Would it be bad that they are doing a verbal commitment by saying that every single game from Activision Blizzard is going to be multiplat, and then once the acquisition is done, they flip the switch and that's it.
Well,
Everything besides
oh, that
Call
would
of
be,
Duty is exclusive. Like with that, you are killing any future possibilities of acquisition if they
yeah,
end
that
up
would
they
be
doing that.
can't.
terrible.
Yeah.
So
Well,
so
not
like
only that, but those
if they
acquisitions can be reserved. They can be reversed. There's a monitoring period after an acquisition.
exactly, so like if they end up saying, because for us it's really vague and we have no idea of what's going on, but for for the deal to be complete, they cannot be as vague as they are being with us right now. So if they say that Activision Blizzard is going to be totally independent, they are only going to answer to Phil Spencer as CEO of Microsoft Gaming, and they are going to be doing the same thing that they've been doing before by releasing multi-platform games for all their already established and future IPs. They need to do that because they made a verbal commitment by saying that they were going to do that, and if they decide to do otherwise, they won't be able to acquire any other studio or
Well,
publisher.
I'm going to be honest with you. So you're talking about two different acquisitions. I mean,
I'm just
there's
confused.
well, yeah, but they're so the
I'm
Bethesda
not angry. I'm just confused.
the ZeniMax thing was so to gamers, the ZeniMax thing was huge, and it probably didn't get a whole lot of questioning from the higher ups and the approval board and whatnot. And so yes, I do believe that Phil said that the Bethesda games, it's ZeniMax is done, it's in the bank, it's over with, and Phil's words are going to stand. ZeniMax games are going to be only playable where Game Pass is available. But then they went and they announced this Activision Blizzard deal,
Ten
and all
times
of us
bigger.
10 times bigger, and all of a sudden you've got Sony screaming about we didn't hear a single word about a hit to their revenue with with ZeniMax. All of a sudden the two highest grossing games on their platform are in jeopardy. And I do believe that if Microsoft played the hard hand, the Sony could probably, and I'm sure Sony is very far reaching into the industry as long as they've been around and as popular as they are. Sony could have made enough noise to really put this acquisition in jeopardy. So right now, I'm not going to believe anything I see, read, or hear until the acquisition is finished, and we're months after that, and we get to see the very first title that isn't contractually obligated to be multiplat until I see where that goes. Because right now, Microsoft, for all intents and purposes, has to look like the nice guy, the really nice guy, the guy you'd bring home
Yes.
to mom and dad and say, "Look at my new best friend. Can they stay and have dinner with us?"
But here,
So,
so I have a question for the panel, and I would like to get everybody's point of view on this because I've been thinking about this myself. So having known now what we do, right? So it's obvious that okay, if anybody who had bought Activision Blizzard, more than likely another large company, because I don't think that Sony would have had enough capital to actually do that, right?
So
So
we are including Amazon, Google, and
Amazon,
Tencent.
Google, Tencent, Embracer
Okay,
Group, everybody,
okay,
right?
okay.
So having known what we know now, which is that basically whoever acquires Activision Blizzard would have had to have fallen under these same regulations and guidelines, which means that Call of Duty would remain on these other platforms, yada, yada, right? So, my question to the panel is that having known this now, would you have rather Microsoft purchase Activision Blizzard, or would you have rather them purchase a few other studios that would have bolstered Xbox Game Studios, i.e., IO Interactive slash, um, you know, Crystal Dynamics or some other independent parties that would have bolstered the Xbox ecosystem? Is my question.
Well,
But
let me. I'm
it
gonna.
depends on the results of what they are going to do after the acquisition is done. Like that's a really tricky question. Go on, Bob.
So, Bob's short and skinny answer to this is outside of Diablo, Bob does not play a lot of Activision Blizzard games. So, I will try them when I don't have to pay for them on Game Pass. Absolutely, and I will probably love them. But with that being said, I would have rather 10 times over, 10 times over, I have been praying at night before I lay my little head down on the pillow to go to sleep that I don't have to ever buy another Ubisoft game. That's what Bob wants. Bob wants Watch Dogs. Bob wants Far Cry. Bob wants Assassin's Creed to be free to Bob on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So Ubisoft, and I'm behind that because I actually, a lot of people clown Ubisoft, but I enjoy Ubisoft games. I'm not gonna sit here and try to pretend that like they are like stellar masterpieces, but they're fun games. They typically do okay. I mean, I'm playing Immortals Phoenix Rising and I'm having a lot of fun with it. It runs
Exactly.
like flawlessly. And if I could have gotten that game automatically dropped into Game Pass, that would have been a super win, right? However, like I guess what I'm trying to get at is, knowing that we basically nothing's going to change, and knowing that if everything is going as it stands right now, that stuff like Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 and all the basically anything anybody really cares about is going to be multi-plat. How hard is it going to be for Microsoft if we're really like theorizing that later on they're going to make something exclusive? Imagine the blowback whenever, I don't know, for instance, Blizzard's new survival game that's rumored to be worked on. They just come out of nowhere after giving everybody Call of Duty and everybody Diablo 4 and everybody Overwatch 2, and then all of a sudden Blizzard's new survival game is exclusive to Xbox. Imagine the media that's going to jump all over Microsoft and all anti-consumer and why they've given us everything. Why would they hold this back? And it was going to be, the messaging is going to be unclear, right? Versus something like Bethesda where they say, listen, these games are where Game Pass is at, and where Game Pass is at, right? So like that's about as clear as you can get. You know what I'm saying? So now we're in this like weird limbo between stuff being multi-plat and trying to figure out what's going to be an exclusive and what's not. Meanwhile, Sony and Nintendo get to kind of sit back, do what they continue to do with no blowback. Like nobody ever says, why is Spider-Man exclusive when Spider-Man, they didn't create Spider-Man. They just got the license to make the game. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
They
So
don't even
what's stopping
own
Sony? Why isn't
Spider-Man.
anybody calling Sony out and say, hey, why aren't you sharing anything? Because basically, like, everybody's kind of feeding you these multi-platform games. They're just kind of sitting back collecting the money.
Sony
Or like,
is the media darling. That is
or I
another
mean, like,
reason why. they have to look like such the nice guy. Like they're not going to hurt the darling.
Yeah,
They're
Not
I
not
know,
going
just
to
but,
hurt
not
their
that,
just
but,
bottom
that, but
line.
that's what I'm saying. Like all I wanted to do really is just acknowledge that fact that we know that like everybody, that the media just kind of loves Sony, and it's very rare if ever. I mean, look what Microsoft has had to do with Game Pass and making everything day and date and putting everything on PC and all that. I mean, 7 or 8 years of media hating Xbox like daily. I mean, article after article after article, and they finally said, "Hey, listen, the only way the only way we're going to get these people off our back is basically if we just we give them so much, we make so much stuff accessible and free that they have no choice." And you can almost hear the frustration in the articles that they have to write something positive about Xbox. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but like not just with Spider-Man as an example, like Street Fighter is another one. Like you're getting, we are talking about a game that was always multi-platform, but just because Sony helped develop the game, they decided to okay, it's going to be fully exclusive, and for people that decided to ask, hey, what about the Xbox players? The developers and Sony laughed at them and they decided to answer, well, the PS4 is very cheap right now, so you can grab one of those to play the game, right? Right?
Hmm.
Like, this is a really something that I really don't like. Like, are you actually going to be that arrogant? Are you going to be that fucking arrogant? And like, I mean, while one is giving games, the other one is blocking games. Like there's something kind of unbalanced
Like,
in that
like Fabio,
situation.
like Fabio, dude. Like, check this out. So, what do you think would happen if tomorrow or maybe Friday that Xbox official Twitter page drops a never before seen trailer of an exclusive Incredible Hulk game that's coming out to Xbox in 2 years? Like, what do you think that would do? You know what I'm saying? And just in all honesty, they dropped a CGI epic Incredible Hulk trailer that's exclusive to Xbox.
People would complain about by saying, "How dare you to steal the hook from other players?" Because Hulk was never an Xbox character and all
That
that kind of
exactly,
thing. And
exactly.
everyone would forget Spider-Man and Wolverine.
All right, got to just butt in here real quick. Power Man 4K, you are now known as Homie Power. Just letting you know. Thank you, Thember. He is Homie Power in party
Homie power.
and on podcast from now on.
Okay, Homie
Heard
Power.
of that? I can get down with that. That's fine.
Homie Power. Next time you log into StreamYard, change your name to Homie Power 4K.
Yes.
Okay. But by the way, kick Power Man from the StreamYard. Let him do that right now. You're doing
Oh my
this
god.
now.
I think you could
Oh
just change
no.
it live. Actually, I think Bob could just change it right now.
Bob, do it. Just do
Wow.
it. Do it. I'm Emperor Palpatine here. Do it.
Oh my
But yeah, I
god.
think you guys are forgetting about a couple other games. Like, what about Fall Guys? What about Final Fantasy VII Remake? What about Wolverine? The new
Yeah.
Wolverine game that's coming out.
What about games like I don't know Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo?
Well, those are time exclusives, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about
No,
like
no,
I know
no.
Final Fantasy VII Remake is as well, but Sony paid to push it back even further to be exclusive on PlayStation,
Yes.
just to spite Xbox and
Not
Xbox
to
players.
mention, not to mention Final Fantasy 14 being in the talks about coming onto Xbox and then mysteriously stopping because Final Fantasy was doing so well. My guess is that Sony had to sit down with them. The issue is like they get to play. Let's face it, they get to play dirty, and Microsoft doesn't. There's a whole different ball game that's being played here, and unfortunate. Well, not really unfortunate, but Microsoft is such a high level financially that they have to play a different kind of ball game, almost like they have to kind of pat Sony on the head and say, "Good job, you're doing great." Even though you're making more money than us per year in revenue, you're literally just right behind Tencent, making
L-
$25 billion a year.
And
But
like
somehow, like Microsoft is perceived as the big bad guy when they're in third place, and they've been in third place. You know what I'm
like
saying?
Yeah, but in the whole scheme of things, outside of gaming, let's be honest, Microsoft's in first place.
I
Right,
don't
they
think it I
are,
like
and I know that they have the money to do bigger things. That and but at the end of the day, like if you look at the chart and you look at like what Microsoft would acquire, even with this Activision Blizzard thing, it only puts them at 24 billion in annual revenue. That's right there with Sony, and
like
Sony is about to drop 10 live service games over the next 10 years that could potentially make them a crap ton of money. Not to mention now they've got Bungie money and 1 million people already paid $100 for the ultimate version of that game, not counting microtransactions, not counting TLC, not counting battle passes. You know what I'm
I,
saying?
I mean, like, Mr. Homie Power, hear me out here. Like, I think when yes, I will be using
Look what
that.
you started, Thember. Okay, I'll never forgive you for this.
Well, that's what you get. Well, hear me out. Shut up, Homie Power. Let me
Oh
speak here.
God! All right, I'm muting myself. Get out of here.
No need for that. But like, I mean, I don't even think that Sony can play dirty and Microsoft can't, because I don't think that owning the developer and also owning the IP and making that exclusive to your devices is playing dirty, because you have the developer and you also have the IP. What is missing? I think that's pretty fair because this is mine. I have the guys who done that, so I can kind of say that I did those games. They are now my property. Like, it's different from Street Fighter. Does does Sony own Street Fighter 5? No, that's owned by Capcom. Does only does Sony own Capcom? No, Capcom is still Capcom. They are independent. So does that make sense? Is that this is playing dirty, but with Microsoft, since they own the studio and they own the IP that created that 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 thing, like, I think that shows, okay, I'm using my cards, I'm using my resources, I'm playing fair and square, but I'm using the power that I have. I'm sorry if I have more money than you.
All
That's
right,
life.
what Bob doesn't cuss very often, but
Did I curse?
n-
Sorry.
no, you didn't. But Bob's about to, for good reason. So
As
I believe, and you're seeing it with this whole Bungie thing with Sony. I think Microsoft finally found the the spot in the wallet to make Sony feel the same way they've made Microsoft and Xbox feel. And when the Activision Blizzard thing came out, and Sony was like, oh my God, we could possibly lose Call of Duty. They probably took a step back and reflected and said, we've bought all these studios and we've made everything exclusive and we've shut fan bases out, and damn, maybe when we buy Bungie, we let everybody play Destiny as kind of a show of good faith to Microsoft. I mean, it's not a very good, I'm sorry, because I don't really care for Destiny, but you know, maybe finally the shoe got put on the other foot. And at the same time, Microsoft is walking very softly on eggshells so they can get this major payday at the end of the road with Activision and Blizzard. And right now, because we're talking about a damn near $1 billion revenue stream from Call of Duty. Because of this, they're playing nice. Who knows? We could. Who knows, man? I could be playing a version of Days Gone on my Series X next year. Not going to happen, but
But and
Hey, listen, if that
and
happens,
that's
I
the
will be the first.
situation.
I will be the first person on Twitter and out on this podcast being like, "Bravo, Sony!" Because listen, if we're heading to Kumbaya Land, then I'm okay with Kumbaya Land. But in Kumbaya Land means I want to play God of War on my Series X. Okay, and if we're gonna be sharing, then I'm okay with sharing. But I would like something in return. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yep.
not like it's not like, okay, well, we spent $70 billion on Activision Blizzard. Here's all of our games, and guess what? The reward to Xbox players is that Sony gets to stay here and compete. Okay, they get the
Not just that, but the only reward that you get is you only have it on Game Pass. And okay, that's a great reward, but
yeah, but that's
still,
not a
like,
reward now.
are you?
That's an expectation. Phil Spencer
Yeah,
said that that was what was going to happen,
that's just a
right?
fact.
So that's not really like a reward for me because, like, at the end of the day, like, bro, that's what you said you were going to do. Like, that's not like, hey, we're doing this. Yeah, that's what you said. Your first party lineup was going to be dropping into Game Pass. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
at the end of the day, it's more about like, okay, they have content, they have software that you own, right? And Sony doesn't put their stuff anywhere except the PlayStation. Now they're finally getting to the PC, but at the end of the day,
And I mean,
that doesn't affect me because I don't want to play games on PC.
what the
You know what
get
I
off
mean?
of me. Get off of me. I told you I'm going on camera. I got to say this. Stop it.
Okay, okay.
All right.
I'm sorry.
All
Are
right.
you trying to act
Here
here?
we go.
Because
Here we go.
like
Look here.
Bob's on camera. Everybody quiet.
Look here. So it's kind of a bullshit move because the revenue stream from Destiny does not even come close to Call of Duty. But what else could they go after? You think about it, other than Call of Duty, the other largest revenue streams for Microsoft are first party studios. So
Yeah.
they had to go after Bungie, and maybe they thought that would be a little kick in the pants because they created Halo. Well, let me tell you something. Bungie is not, I mean, Destiny is not Halo in no way,
Right.
shape, or form.
Right.
So, I mean, they did what they had to do, what they felt like they had to do, but it's still not a comparison. So they play nice, and everybody gets Call of Duty, and everybody gets Destiny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, but I
I
think
I
that would
get
be
that.
okay.
And
Bob's
that's
leaving. Goodbye.
it's a fair point. It is a fair point. And like I said, I guess it just me. I guess it's just like kind of like somebody hands you a quarter and you just dropped $100 bill at them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
When
like
it comes to the exchange, you know what I mean? It's like here's like the best friend loan I could ever give you, and then Sony kind of flicks a quarter at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, there you go. And really, I'm only doing this because the contract made me. You know what I'm saying?
but like, and not just that. I think that okay. Once again, I'm okay if they would say that. Okay, only Call of Duty will forever remain multi-plat, and also we are going to keep multi-platform the games that are already announced, like Overwatch 2, Diablo 4. Okay, that's fair and square, good enough. But when it comes to, you know what? You are giving us Destiny 2, which was already multiplat. We are going to give you every single game from this publisher that we just bought for $70 billion. And how many studios does Activision Blizzard has? Like,
Like 8.
Yeah.
like we are going to be giving you every single game, like while you are giving us one game from just one studio that has only one IP, we are going to be giving you every single game from 8 studios. That's a fair deal. No, it
Shout
Listen,
isn't.
out to Assassin Lupa in the chat.
So, I'm sorry,
What's
but
up,
like,
Stay
Lupa?
safe.
How you doing, Lupa?
hey, thanks for coming. But like, I'm not right. Once again, I'm not bashing on Xbox. I'm not saying that Xbox is bad. I'm not saying that I'm going to turn into a PlayStation fanboy. I don't want to be the next fucking crappy game. I, I don't have that intention because otherwise I'm going to be another curse. But like,
Yeah,
I
don't curse my
just,
games.
of course, but like, of course, like, it's just so confusing. If you, why would you do that? Why would you? I'm not saying that they are going to, but if they end up saying that we are going to make Activision Blizzard full multiplats,
Okay.
why would you do that when you have the
Okay.
advantage to have
Has
something to you?
has Phil said this? Has has
No, no,
anybody said this other than a lawyer?
nope.
Keyword there, lawyer.
The
One of the people that's actually, you know, in touch with this whole review process.
Brad Smith, president and vice chair of Microsoft, for what it seems he said. To be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on PlayStation through the terms of any existing agreement with Activision, and we have committed to Sony that we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement into the future so that Sony fans can continue to enjoy the games they love. It's not just a lawyer, we are talking about the Microsoft vice president. And like, what can I say about this? The part that makes me confused is not the Call of Duty. That's fair and square. That's clear enough. I get it. It's all good. It's the other popular Activision Blizzard titles because tell me which Activision Blizzard titles are not are not.
I mean,
So
I think it's really just referring to multiplayer games. So I really
mhm,
think it's just going to be like Overwatch and Call of Duty, and maybe Diablo, since that was specifically stated as one
mm,
of you guys mentioned. But
mhm,
I don't think they're going to do that. Like they all know how much money they dropped on this deal, right?
mhm,
So I feel like they, like I said, they're just trying to cover their backs right now until this all like blows over and everything gets settled, and then once they're good, like they'll actually come out and say, okay, well, this is what we meant. Popular titles, meaning Call of Duty, Overwatch, because when you think about it, I'm sure Overwatch is more popular than like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot
Oh God,
on
yeah.
on
yeah,
PlayStation.
I
yeah,
mean,
for
So
sure.
yeah.
like popular games, that's a very vague term. Like you could,
Yes.
like anyone can say, like I can say, oh, in my opinion, Spyro is more popular than Overwatch because
Well,
I like Spyro more.
right.
But that's
I
my
mean,
opinion. It's very
there's a
vague.
lot of conjecture there, right? Like there's a lot of stuff that you could be that could be interpreted and misinterpreted, and that, like I said, this is what we're this is what we're left to do for the next year or change or whatever. It's going to be a lot of speculation. In my opinion, and it's like I said this earlier, man. This Activision Blizzard stuff. I mean, at this point, I said my piece on it, and I'm honestly, it's whatever. I'm still way more excited for Starfield than I am about anything Activision Blizzard related. I listen. I am more excited about State of Decay 3. And I'm more excited about um, Indiana Jones and anything that Arcane or id Software is working on. In my opinion, that was the superior move that Xbox made. And in my opinion, I think that acquisition bolsters their first party, and a lot of the games that are going to be coming out of their first party are going to be amazing. And a Fable, for God's sake. I mean, who isn't hyped for Fable that loves Xbox? I don't know one person. So games like that are what is getting me excited about this stuff. I know that deep down, this Activision Blizzard thing is just a money machine, and if that money machine lets me pump out more Elder Scrolls and more Fallout and more Fable and more State of Decay 3 and other games like that, and gives them the money or the whatever they need to make that stuff happen, then I'm cool with that. But like I said, I just think that Xbox could do a little bit better with their messaging and their communication. But they could come out tomorrow and drop a really awesome trailer, and then everybody can just be like, "Yay, great! We
No,
love."
not just that, but like we can have a much more clear message once the deal is done, because just like it happened with the Bethesda deal, before they were saying, we are going to decide the exclusivity of games in a case by case scenario. That doesn't mean jack shit. I'm sorry, but that doesn't mean jack shit. And when the deal was finally done, they said this is about we are going to be bringing games to other platforms because it's fair to do so for legacy games that we feel that need to be there as well.
Yeah, it's
But make
Minecraft 2.0. It's
but
Minecraft 2.0.
makes but do not make any mistake that this is about bringing you great exclusives to anywhere Game Pass is available. Like that was clear as day, and there were still people saying that Starfield's going to be multiplayer. That makes no sense at all after that message. So I hope that once the acquisition is done, they can just be clear, so I don't have to think about any other possibilities because just this part of the article it
So
can englobe so much stuff. Like people can say that for example, some people think that everything's going to be multiplayer. Slayer thought it probably is going to be only multiplayer games. Other people are saying that it's not only going to be multiplayer games, but the only multiplayer game that they mean by Call of Duty is Warzone. So like that, everyone can interpret this damn article any way they can, and we are not going to get the answer until the acquisition is done.
so Assassin Lupa makes a really good point. So Microsoft, they're going to make a ton of money, but they're going to gain a lot of goodwill. And with Microsoft having their hands on these IPs, like owning them outright. So I did play a lot of the first Destiny. To be honest with you, Destiny, I hated Destiny after they killed Cage 6. That destroyed me. I didn't want anything to do with the storyline after that. But on the first Destiny, Sony had that exclusive strike. I think it was a space station, or it was a strike on the moon that you couldn't access unless you were playing it on PlayStation. And that bothered me, and I still don't think to this day you can play that on Xbox. Well, with Xbox owning these IPs and showing this goodwill, the next time something like this comes up, Xbox can say, that's kind of shitty. We own these IPs, right? And we've owned them for a few years and we've been nice. But if you're going to play this game, we know how much money you make off of Call of Duty because you let everybody know how much money you made off Call of Duty when this acquisition was announced. It it's leverage. I mean, it right now it's good faith, but in the future it can become a great tool of leverage in Microsoft's favor to combat some of that bullshit platform exclusive crap that other platforms get earlier than other platforms, and some of the content the other platforms never get it,
They
which
may just
is
end up doing the same thing.
eh,
Probably.
I mean, they could
I'm like, oh yeah,
threaten
you
with
guys are
the
gonna
same
have
thing.
like a unique strike in Destiny, where we're gonna have like 10 unique maps on Call of Duty. There you go.
Yeah, we did discuss that.
Or they could hold back entire. I mean, who's to say that you can't get the multiplayer experience, but the campaign could be exclusive? I
Yeah,
mean,
we
just
did
because
mention.
Call of Duty exists on other platforms doesn't mean it has to exist in its entirety, right? Like nothing in that language, and that's where I've been learning a lot from. Like, shout out to Hogue Law, man. What a guy! Like
Oh
this
yeah,
guy really
Hope's
knows his
awesome.
stuff. You know what I mean? And I've been listening to him, and he listen. He brings up a lot of good points about language, and like trust me, whenever I talk about this stuff, I know that there is PR speak all over this deal. Okay. There's a lot of PR speak and there's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes that we probably aren't getting to see that's happening a lot, right? What I'm saying is now we have a good long while to speculate what's going to happen, and basically we're in wait and see mode, and that's kind of where I'm at with it, right? Like at this point, we know the deals. I feel about 90% positive that this deal is going to go through. Especially with the news that everything's going to be multiplat. I don't really see a reason for them to stop it. Activision Blizzard wanted to be bought, right? They approached several people. Microsoft just took it and ran with it. I do think that it is going to make them money, and I do think that it is going to allow for more resources to be hashed out. I guess I want to see a new Crash game. I want to see a new Spyro game. I want them to take these IPs that aren't Call of Duty and let these studios do the work that they want to do. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I'm just excited to see like the changes that are going to happen from that, and I want Xbox to communicate that stuff um, on a good enough cadence. You know what I'm saying? To where we start to get like info drop after info drop on what's happening, what's coming, and honestly, I want to see more of what these Xbox game studios are working on.
Yeah, and I said this last week when Sony came out and said how much of their revenue is on Call of Duty and last year's this year's Call of Duty and last year's Call of Duty. That people get it twisted. So that revenue, trust me, that's not people buying the game to play single player campaigns. It's not. So I mean, it's still out there that yeah, like okay, let's say the acquisition was already finished, the ink was dry, and Call of Duty Vanguard just came out. Okay, well, you can play multiplayer, you can play zombies, but you can't play the campaign. We see the same thing right now with Halo Infinite. It's two different things. It's campaign, it's multiplayer. You're still getting the game, and you're still getting the portion that makes you money on your store. But my players are getting the story. My players are getting that movie experience. We don't know. I mean, like I said, we won't know until the very first new thing comes out that's never had a contract put on it. We won't know until that happens.
If they end up doing something like that, I gotta say, if they end up doing something like that in terms of we are going to make only the multiplayer available for other platforms, but the campaign is exclusive only to the ecosystem, then I think that they need to do the fair and good thing that it is to then reduce the price of the game to the other platforms. Because if they are only going to be paying for the multiplayer, you don't have to charge $60 or $70 for that. Be
Well,
a
right
good guy
now,
then.
as far as Warzone goes, Warzone's free.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, totally.
Very good, great point, Assassin Lupo. And I do believe that things are going to be really way more clear once the acquisition is done, just like they did with Bethesda.
Yeah. And, you know, let's let's be honest here. What if so we know that and this is something that's not I haven't heard anybody talk about this yet. So we know how Sony is all on this $70 game kick. And on Xbox, they're still $60 games. What if could Xbox actually force Sony to sell Call of Duty for only $60 now because that's Microsoft's pricing strategy and template?
It depends. Was Psychonauts 2 available for 60 or $70?
Uh don't I don't think Psychonauts 2 was on PlayStation.
It was.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was.
It was.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. They did.
Oh
It was,
wow.
it was contractually obligated to be on
Yeah,
it.
Double Fine promised to crowdfunding that it was going to be available on PlayStation, and Microsoft kept that contractual obligation. Let me check here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's confirmed. It was on there because I remember they were talking about like performance and stuff like that and comparing it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, once they sign the paperwork and the ink is dried, they can kind of set the standard. They could say, hey, listen, this is what the price is going to be, or maybe they can negotiate. how much they get in revenue. I mean, who knows? At this point, I used to say that nothing like this would ever be possible, but now we're on uncharted
60.
territory, and speculation to me now could end up being fact a couple of months from now. So
Yep.
I think KY has a point. I think that they could definitely, at the very least, they have a very large bargaining chip to put on the table and say, hey, listen, like, how much money you want to make off this Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Just to point out, the Psychonauts 2 was available for $60 on PlayStation.
See, so there you go. So they followed their way of pricing even across platforms. So it would even be beneficial to place that, because I mean they may sell more copies. They may even make more money because they sell more copies because the game's $10 cheaper because of the Xbox pricing strategy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the money is never, I think, going to be the issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew, I know they're going to make money. Like, that's not that to me isn't even the 25 million subscribers in Game Pass is making them money. You know what I'm saying? That's a huge market. And hey, listen, if the PlayStation guys, not to contradict myself, but hey, listen, whatever. If they want to pay for Call of Duty full price and fund my ecosystem, as long as my ecosystem is well taken care of, then that's fine. You know what I'm saying?
So I just wanted to let everybody know, my good friend Dark CMF, shout out to you, brother. He let me know about this website that allows any users in any region to go on and buy region specific game codes. And we tested it out. He bought a US game code and a UK game code for his Dying Light 2 giveaway during RDX on Tuesday night. And the UK game code that he gave away, he got confirmation. It did work. So, to Thimber and Assassin Lupa, and I apologize, cannot remember the name of the third person that got a copy last week. I will be sending those out. I just need to know what specific region you individuals are in.
Wait a second.
I think Thimber says South America.
Fimber, let me know, which country do you live in? I'm curious.
But that's
now.
really awesome, though, guys. I mean, that kind of breaks the barriers down for giving games away on a worldwide basis. If I can because money's not if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. A little bit of an exchange rate difference is not that big a deal. I just want to be able to give you that. And this website that Dark CMF, again, shout out to you, brother. I had no idea this existed. Allows you to purchase codes in another region's format.
Let me know. Is it Iniba?
No. It is not.
Because I did send a link of Iniba to you guys so we can make future giveaways. Check it out.
As a matter of fact, as soon as I find, I will throw this website up in our Discord, because it is something that we all need, because it does bring down some of those barriers so that we can be. Assassin Lupa says it was Casket. Was it Casket? I'm not sure. I will have to go and look at the stream from last week and scroll down the chat. That will tell me.
Wait a second. Wait a damn second. Fimber, are you from Brazil? Really? Ah, Jesus.
Oh my god, dude! Y'all need to hook up and have coffee or something. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus. He doesn't. He probably doesn't even live on the same state as I do. Jesus Christ.
Turns out they're long lost cousins or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, we are not just cousins, but we
big
have
reveal.
we are not even cousins, but we do have the same name. Ta ta ta.
It's the same person. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just
Maybe
got.
you
No,
just been
now the
Denver all along. You just have a
Oh,
different account.
oh shit! You discovered.
It's a burner account, man. This is
now the
crazy.
truth comes out.
I am
Assassin and
Finbar.
Dark have been working on this in the background the whole time.
Oh
Oh
my
man.
god. Jeez. My god. Okay,
Assassin
stop.
says it is G2A.
G2A. Nice.
Yes.
Nice, nice, nice. I'll make sure to check that out.
Yeah,
That'll be nice.
when Dark told me in a party a couple days ago, or it was actually Tuesday before the show. He told me it in a party, and I went to it on my computer, but my software has already deleted my history. It's already changed my fingerprint, and my VPN said no, you cannot access that no more. So, you know, but I did. I looked over the website, and yeah, you can pick games and regions, and it's pretty neat. But anyway, for everybody that has listened tonight, I hope that you had just as good a time as we had. And please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to start it off with the man right below me, Fabio. Where can people find you, brother?
Well, you can find me on Xbox as BullFunLizard8. Don't ask about the name. You can find me as well on Twitter as at FBOAmorin97. Uh, you can find me as well as being an intruder on the USA show. You can find me as being member of the XBL Party podcast. I will end up showing up on maybe on the Tuesday show, the UK show that we have. I will continue to be showing up here, as well as I will be showing up on gaming live streams that we are going to be doing during the weekends. And we have a cell
Awesome.
phone.
Yeah.
Of course, what was it? Homie Power was it due?
No.
So I just want to. I'm sorry to jump in here, but this is actually a kind of funny part in Dying Light 2 right here. So I all my weapons broke, and so I kept jumping up on top of this truck and kicking and punching and trying to stay as far away from all these goons. But like I remember in the first Dying Light, you came across weapons so often. Well, in Dying Light 2, you actually run out of weapons. And
Oh my god, your weapons break in this game?
Yes, they break.
That's a pass for me. I can't do that. I can't.
And you see, I loot all these people that I punch and kick to death, and none of them gave me a freaking weapon. I was like, oh my goodness, I gotta go to my stash and get my inventory, or go to a merchant and buy something. That's so far that in the co-op, only downsides. But that's my spiel. Power Man, brother, where can people find you?
Oh man, you can find me on Twitter at PowerMan4K. You can find me here every Thursday at 9:00 p.m. chopping it up with you boys. And other than that, man, catch me out on Twitter. You guys have a good week.
Fabio, you and Thimber are having secret messages back and forth between each other now.
Mates,
That's it. That's it.
That's Portuguese for you.
StreamYards does not have a
Google Translate.
Yeah, it doesn't have a translator, man. It's not cool.
God, that's is that legit? I'm like copy pasting.
Just copy and paste it into Google Translate. There you
go. I'm just giving you shit, brother. You know I love you.
Which part? Which message you want me to translate? I can tell you. I can say no worries.
The last one.
The last one? No. It's just because like I asked him like, man, if you were from Brazil, why did you tell me before that? Like, and he's like, I like to play on incognito, and I'm like, man, I kind of thought about that once I saw your name on the Xbox Live, and I won't be saying about his name here because I think he doesn't want for me to mention his name here. And I made a joke. Isn't that right, my dear? And I put
Okay,
his name
so
here, but just
I,
to in a incognito way.
I want to go up to the one before that where it looks like you say
Texas
Pobicho.
absolutely.
Pobicho? Did you just call Thimber a bitch? What the hell?
What? What?
What is Pobicho?
What do you mean?
I highly doubt that's what it means.
Uh, Actually, the pronunciation is po bicho. It's a way for us to say, "Oh man."
Oh, oh, I apologize. I see. I brought profanity out when it wasn't. It didn't even belong there.
Oh, way to
Oh
go,
my
Bob.
goodness.
Way to go.
No, no. At least I
Okay.
did it.
So
At least
Bob
I
is the
waited to the end of
reason
the.
why people are getting mad at Fabio, man. Look at this. This is crazy.
At least I
He
waited
just
to the
makes
end of
Fabio
the
curse,
show.
man.
Okay. I'll stop saying
Oh goodness.
writing things. First of all, don't try to translate Portuguese. Let me translate it for you guys. It's way better. You won't understand a thing.
And Slayer exclusive. Where can people find you at?
Well, obviously, you guys can find me on the XBL Party podcast with you guys every Thursday around 9 p.m. Eastern, and also, sometimes dropping some reviews on the channel, and on my own channel as well, Slayer Exclusive Gaming on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch, and that's about it.
And this is your host, KY Bob. You can find me, KY Bob, on every platform: Xbox, PlayStation, YouTube. There's either an underscore between the K and the Y and the B. And on Xbox, it's a 0 between the B's and not an O. Somebody did already have KY Bob, and I had to use a 0. But tonight, I will be putting another live gameplay stream up of me playing Dying Light 2 on my YouTube channel, Game Set Live. And I'll be interacting with the chat. I hope to see everybody there. And we'll see you next week. It was nice to see all of you, and it was nice to be seen. Thank you for telling a friend.
Thanks
Take
so
it
Good
easy.
much.
night, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.